policeman comes to work naked. He's been asked, "What happened, John? Why did you come naked?" "Yes, you see, I went into a nightclub yesterday. Well, we're dancing, hanging out, everything is normal, and then the DJ stops the music and announces, 'Now we turn off the lights for 30 seconds and the men undress.' And after 30 seconds the light turned on, all the men were naked. It's cool. And then the DJ says again, 'Now I turn off the light for 30 seconds and all the girls undress.' After 30 seconds the light was turned on and all the girls were naked. Awesome. And then what? And then the DJ says, 'Now I turn off the lights for 30 minutes and the men get to work.' And you? And I've come to work?" Lieutenant Reshevsky and Natasha Rostova are dancing at the ball. Natalia complains to the lieutenant that she has nowhere to spend the night, that her life is over, and so on. The lieutenant, like a gentleman, offers her to spend the night with him. They come after the ball to the lieutenant's modest room, where he offers Natasha his bed and he will sleep in the closet. Night. The lieutenant falls asleep. Natasha: "Lieutenant, I'm cold." The lieutenant gets up, takes out a second blanket, covers Natasha and goes into the closet. After a while again: "Lieutenant, I'm cold." Reshevsky gets up, takes out his sheepskin overcoat, covers her and goes back into the closet. After a while again: "Lieutenant, I'm cold." "Madame, I have nothing else to cover you with." "Lieutenant, my late husband warmed me with his body." The lieutenant looks at his watch. "Madame, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm not going to dig up your husband's body." The wife went to bed with her lover and the husband came to lunch. The wife quickly hid her lover in the fridge. The husband goes into the kitchen, opens the fridge and... "Who are you?" "Pete." "What are you doing here?" "I'm eating sausage." The husband returned to work and told his friends everything. "You're a fool," the friends laughed it, "because this is your wife's lover." The husband ran home, went back to the fridge and there was another guy in it. "What's your name?" "David." "Listen, David, tell Pete that if I see him I will kill him." Two friends meet. "Hello, why are you so sad?" "My tooth hurts." "So go to the dentist." "I'm afraid of them." "Well, then go to the station, tie a thread to your tooth and to the train pulls and it's fine." They met again in a couple of days. "Well, how are you? How's the tooth?" "I tore off 6 pieces." "6 teeth?" "No, 6 wagons, and my teeth were knocked out by the driver." The wife came to the prison on a date with her husband. "Darling, how are you doing here?" "It's almost like home, the food is stateless and you can't go anywhere either." A man comes to the circus director and says, "Take me to work, I'm a good animal trainer." "What can you do?" the director asks. "I can make it so that the crocodile will play the piano and the hippopotamus will sing romances." "It can't be, it's impossible, demonstrate." A man brought a crocodile and a hippopotamus from somewhere. He puts the crocodile at the piano and puts the hippopotamus next to it. The crocodile is playing, the hippopotamus is singing, the shocked director clutches his head. "But it's impossible, there must be some secret here." "Yes, you're right. The fact is that one crocodile sings and plays, and the hippopotamus only opens his mouth." A very fat girl came to the doctor. "Doctor, how can I lose weight? Maybe you can prescribe me some exercises?" "Well, I have a good set of exercises." "And what are they, doctor?" "Head turns from the left to right and from the right to left." "And that's all, the doctor? And when to do them, in the morning or in the evening?" "Whenever you are treated." Lieutenant Reshevsky is sitting and writing something. The colonel enters. "Lieutenant, what are you writing?" "I'm composing the anthem of our regiment." "Really? Let me read it." "So, here there are only swear words." "Well, why? In the second line is the word banner." Exam at the university. Students write the answers in the exam sheets. A professor walks through the rows, watches and suddenly sees one student who is calmly surrounded by textbooks and notes and cheerfully cheats all the answers. Without saying anything, the professor sits down in his seat and waits for the call with a grin. Call. Everyone puts the sheets on the teacher's desk. This student comes last. "Professor, I won't accept it from you, my dear. You cheated." Student. "Well, do you know who I am?" The professor scared. "No." The student is formidable. "I repeat, do you know who I am?" The professor barely audible. "No, but who?" Student. "That's wonderful." He puts his sheet in the middle of the stack and quickly runs away. After buying Lada Kalina, I felt like Yuri Gagarin. At first I told her for a long time "let's go" and then waved my hand. After the training, 3 lieutenants come to the military unit, go to the commander of the unit and each reports. Lieutenant so-and-so has arrived for military service. The colonel says, okay, that's all clear, but answer please 3 simple questions for me. How do you feel about drinking? How do you feel about women? And how do you feel about serving in the army? I will give you 2 hours to think about it. 2 hours later, the first one comes in and says, I don't drink, I don't cheat on my wife, and I won't serve in the army. The colonel says, well done, you will be the commander of the 3rd company. The 2nd lieutenant comes in and reports, I drink vodka every day, I cheat on my wife all the time, I don't want to serve. The colonel answers, well, it's not bad either, you will be the warehouse manager. The 3rd lieutenant comes in and reports, sir, vodka in the trunk, girls in the car, what are the further instructions? The colonel goes to the table, picks up the phone, dials a numbers and says, hello dear, I will be a little late today, I'm going to show the military unit to my deputy. The cannibals caught a German, a Frenchman, a Russian and an American in the jungle. They tell the prisoners, before we devour you, we will fulfill your last wishes. The German wanted a beer. The cannibals searched all over the jungle and brought him a mug of a Bavarian beer. He drank and was eaten. The Frenchman wanted a woman. They also performed and ate him. It was the Russian turns. Your last wish, give me a kick in the ass. And nothing else? Yes, just kick in the ass. They gave the Russian a kick in the ass, and he took out a Kalashnikov assault rifle from the bosom and shot the whole tribe. The American asked the Russian, why didn't you do that when the German and the Frenchman were killed? Russian replied to him, we Russian are peaceful people. They don't touch us, we don't touch them. The general unexpectedly received a decent cash bonus and decided to go to a jewelry store with his wife and buy her a necklace. They come and suddenly a salesman jumps out from behind the counter. I wish you good health, comrade general. The general, and how do you know me? Seller, captain of the reserve Kuznetsov. You fired me from the army a year ago. I'm so grateful to you. I'm now the senior manager here. Allow me on behalf of the company and as a sign of my gratitude to present this necklace to your wife as a gift. The satisfied general accepted the gift and decided to buy his wife a fur coat because the bonus was still there. They went to the fur coat store and the story repeated, as the commercial director turned out to be an officer dismissed by the general at the time. In his joy, the general decided to light a candle for good luck. They go to the church and along the path there is a line of beggars. Suddenly command sounds, comrades, officers. The beggars stand at attention. The general, did I fire you too? Beggars, no way, comrade general, we are still serving. A young boy enters a barber shop and the barber whispers to his customer, this is the dumbest kid in the world, watch while I prove it to you. The barber puts a dollar bill in one hand and 2 quarters in the other, then calls the boy over and asks, which do you want, son? The boy takes the quarters and leaves. What did I tell you? Said the barber. That kid never learns. Later, when the customer leaves, he sees the same boy coming out of the ice cream parlor. Hey son, may I ask you a question? Why did you take the quarters instead of the dollar bill? The boy licked his cone and replied, because the day I take the dollar, the game is over. Putin is held hostage by a terrorist. A Russian truck driver stops at the back of a long queue on the motorway. He sees a policeman walking down the line of stopped cars to briefly talk to the drivers. As the policeman approaches to the truck driver rolls down the window and asks, what's going on? Policeman, a terrorist is holding Putin hostage in a car. He is demanding 10 million rubles or he will douse Putin in petrol and set him on fire. So we were asking drivers for donations. Driver, oh, okay, how much do people donate on average? Policeman, about a gallon. A guy said to God, God, is it true that to you a billion years is like a second? God said yes. The guy said, God, is it true that to you $1 billion is like a penny? God said yes. The guy said, God, can I have a penny? God said, sure, just a second. If there are any idiots in the room, will they please stand up, said the sarcastic teacher. After a long silence, one freshman rose to his feet. Now then, mister, why do you consider yourself an idiot? Inquired the teacher with a sneer. Well, actually I don't, said the student, but I hate to see you standing up there all by yourself. A wife got so mad at her husband, she packed his bags and told him to get out. As he walked to the door, she yelled, I hope you die a long, slow, painful death. He turned around and said, so you want me to stay? My boss was honest with me today. He pulled up to work with his sweet new car this morning and I complimented him on it. He replied, "Well, if you work hard, set goals, stay determined and put in long hours, I can get even better one next year." A taxi passenger tapped the driver on the shoulder to ask him a question. The driver screamed, lost control of the car, nearly hit a bus, went up on the footpath and stopped inches from a shop window. For a second everything was quiet in the cab. Then the driver said, "Look mate, don't ever do that again, you scared the living daylights out of me." The passenger apologized and said, "I didn't realize that a little tap would scare you so much." The driver replied, "Sorry, it's not really your fault. Today is my first day as a cab driver. I've been driving a funeral van for the last 25 years. During my checkup, I asked the doctor, "Do you think I live a long and healthy life?" He replied, "I doubt it somehow. Mercury is in Uranus right now." I said, "I don't go in for any of that astrology nonsense." He replied, "Neither do I. My thermometer just broke." A man is walking through the woods when he sees a bear charging at him. He books it, but he knows he can't outrun a bear for long, so he starts praying, "Dear Lord, I beseech thee, please, oh Lord, please let this bear be a Christian." The bear catches up to him, knocks him down on the ground, then gets on its knees and says, "Dear Lord, thank you for this food I am about to receive." A guy is sitting at home when he hears a knock at the door. He opens the door and sees a snail on the porch. He picks up the snail and throws it as far as he can. A year later there is another knock at the door. He opens it and sees the same snail. The snail says, "What was it all about?" My girlfriend and I are trying this whole long-distance relationship thing. I have to stay 100 feet away from her at all times. Also, the police say I should stop referring to her as my girlfriend. Tim decided to tie the knot with his long-time girlfriend. One evening, after their honeymoon, he was organizing his golfing equipment. His wife was standing nearby watching him. After a long period of silence, she finally speaks. "Tim, I've been thinking, now that we are married, maybe it's time you quit golfing. You spend so much time on the course. You could probably get a good price for your clubs." Tim gets this horrible look on his face. She says, "Darling, what's wrong?" For a minute there you were beginning to sound like my ex-wife. "Ex-wife?" she screams. "I didn't know you were married before." "I wasn't," he replied. A commission is scheduled to arrive in one Airborne Division. Everyone is in panic, no one has skydived. One soldier says, "Let's tie bags to the parachutes and drop them into the bushes, and we will hide there and jump out." They decided to do so. The commission came and settled down at the observation post. Planes arrived, dropped the bags. Suddenly, one of the bags broke off and plopped down with terrible force into the bushes. A soldier runs out of there. "Damn it, you can die like that!" The customs officer goes up to the ship for inspection. "Are there any prohibited substances?" The ship's master responds, "There is, here you are." Takes out a suitcase, he has heroin, he has cocaine, everything is neatly packed, he is a syringe ready. The customs officer eyes wide, maybe there are weapons? The owner takes out another suitcase. Here is Makarov, here is Kalashnikov, here are the cartridges for them, everything is as it should be. The customs officer with a grin, "Is there currency too?" The owner takes out a third suitcase. "Here is $1 million, please." The customs officer not understanding anything. "And this is all yours?" Owner, "No, it's yours. Mine's in the hold." There is a funeral procession, and by negligence they drop the deceased. A tractor driver was driving along the road, didn't notice the body and ran over it. He got out of the tractor, saw the corpse, thought he had run over it, and decided to get rid of the body. He threw it into a nearby pond. Poachers were choking the fish, and as luck would have it, a corpse surfaced. Naturally, they thought that they had accidentally blown it up and also decided to get rid of the body. They leaned it against a border post. The border guards patrolling mistook him for a border trespasser and fired a couple of bursts at him. Realizing they had made a mistake, they decided to take him to the hospital. 6 hours later, the surgeon, tied to exhaustion, leaves the operating room, wipes the sweat from his forehead with his hand and says with a sigh, "Whew, it seems he will live." There is a natural science lesson at the Georgian school. The teacher asks, "Children, what do you think is a bomber?" Come on, Gogi. In my opinion, it's a bummer when you walk down the street and see a beautiful blonde in front of you, but then a bus comes up, she gets on it, and you are late. That's a bummer. Very good, Gogi, sit down. Who else think what? Come on, Vakhtang. I think that a bummer is when you walk down the street and see a handsome blonde man in front of you, but then a bus comes up, he gets on it, and you are late. That's a bummer. It's not bad either. Sit down, Vakhtang. Who doesn't agree? Come on, Givi. I think that a bummer is when you walk down the street, Vakhtang is walking behind you, but there is still no bus. No and no, no and no. A lion, a fox, a hare, a monkey and a hippopotamus fell into the pit. The lion, as the coolest, the king of beasts after all, begins to decide who to eat. Lion: today we will eat the big-eared one. Hare: why me? Monkey: oh hare, what? Have you grown ears? Now we are going to eat you. They ate the hare, the next day they want to eat again. Lion: and today we will eat the orange one. Fox: and why me? A monkey: that's it, Orange, you can't fool us, we will devour you and nothing will remain of you. The lion is tired of this, but there is nothing to be done. Once he's decided on a fox, it means a fox. They ate her. A day later, it's time for lunch again. Lion: now we are going to eat the most show-off. The monkey runs up to the hippo, gives him a kick. Get up, you've been showing off too much. Little Johnny watches Dad paint the ceiling. Mom tells him, look Johnny and study, you will grow up and you will help Dad. Wouldn't he have finished painting by then? The father asks Johnny, son, why did you tell the whole class that a math teacher and a physical education teacher kissed at the cinema? She asked me to do it herself. Herself? Really? Yes, she told me, Johnny, you are laughing at the back of the class all the time. Tell everyone we'll laugh too. A professor is walking along the corridor of the university. A student is walking towards him. Hello, professor, may I ask you something? Of course, ask. Tell me, professor, when you go to bed, do you put your beard on the blanket or under the blanket? After a pause. Well, you know, I didn't think about it. Okay, I'm sorry. A week later, the green professor with circles under his eyes meets the same student in the hallway and grabs him. You a bastard, I can't sleep for a week now, it is both uncomfortable. I would be very grateful if you subscribe to the channel. A conversation between two girls. Why do you think a helicopter has such a big propeller? This is a fun. It is needed so that the pilot doesn't sweat. Nonsense. No, it's not nonsense. I recently flew by helicopter, so just before landing, this fan suddenly stopped spinning. You should have seen how the pilot was sweating right away. Good afternoon, Mr. Putin. I'm a single mother. I have 2 young sons. What can I expect from the state? At least 2 summonses to the army. I would be very grateful if you subscribe to the channel. The husband comes home from work earlier. He goes into the bedroom and there his wife is lying in bed. Why are you lying down? Oh, something's wrong with my heart. It's pounding, it's pounding. Please go to the pharmacy, buy something. The husband goes into another room and there is his son. What are you doing here? Yes, they are nodding at the bedroom. Uncle John is hidden in the closet. The husband goes back to the bedroom, opens the closet, and there is his neighbor John. John, you are crazy! My wife is dying, and you are playing hide and seek with my son? How do Russians differ from the Japanese? Russians still hate America for Hiroshima and Nagasaki. My wife came home after a long business trip. When I left for work in the morning, I told her, don't turn on my computer, you may not like what you see. I come home in the evening and she is angry. I'm asking, what happened? She says, well, I turned on your computer, I have been surfing all day thinking there is your correspondent with mistress, but there is nothing there. And you didn't like that? Of course, but I warned you. I would be very grateful if you subscribe to the channel. The US Department of Defense has installed a new supercomputer. A very important general arrives with an inspection and of course they demonstrate this miracle of technology to him. After all the demonstrations, the general wanted to ask the computer a question himself. Should we advance or retreat? The computer thought for a long time and finally gave the answer to the display. Yes. What? After fixing the program, the computer thought even longer and finally gave the answer again. Yes, sir. There you go. In the first grade, the teacher gives a task to name and describe the most valuable thing that the pupils know. Steve told about Dad's car, Maggie about Mom's diamond necklace. Johnny stands up and says, "Menstruation." Teacher: "Johnny, what are you talking about? Do you even know what it is?" Johnny answers, "I don't know what it is, but I'm sure that it is something very valuable, because when my older sister announced that this morning she lost her, Mom fainted, Dad had a heart attack, and the neighbor jumped out of the window."